All right, Coach, this past week had your home and home against Lubbock Christian, split in Lubbock, and then yesterday came home and took two from the Lady Chaps. Just talk about what you saw from your team this past week.
Well, it's been a tough stretch here for us with 10 straight games on the road in probably about a 11 or 12 day span. So, that's been very challenging. Started it off at WT and Midwestern, then had to go down to Sul Ross and UTPB, and then back up to Lubbock. So it was nice to be at home yesterday. I'm not going to lie. It was very nice to be able to go to the ballpark without having to be on a bus 3 or 4 hours ahead of time. So, our girls handled it pretty good. I think we were 5-5 in that 10-game road stretch, which is not something that we strive for. But we survived it and bounced back yesterday and played really good. I thought we looked really sharp, kind of like what we did in the beginning of the year yesterday. Great defense. We had quality at-bats up and down the lineup. And then Cheyenne and Millie were really good in the circle. So you could kind of tell that being at home, was relieving to them a little bit. You could tell that they were a little fresh, a little more rejuvenated to play here and not be on the road. So that I think that played a major factor, but it really thrilled with the way we played yesterday. I thought we looked really good again. Probably our best softball since the WT series or right before that.
Talk about Cheyenne Floyd for a second. So in game one yesterday, she pitches a complete game, but in the fourth, she gives up 2 of her 3 hits at both solo home runs.
Yeah.
Just talk about how she was able to quickly recover, regroup, and pitch the whole game. So talk about her endurance as well.
Well, that's pretty crazy. I'm not, I've been doing this a long time, as we all know, and I'm not real sure that I've ever seen a girl give up 3 hits in the whole game, all 3 of them solo home runs. That was pretty unique. Fortunately, there were no walks ahead of the home runs. There was no errors ahead of the home runs. Therefore, the 3 home runs only equaled 3 runs instead of 6 or 7. So, Lubbock Christian can hit. They've got good hitters. They've been swinging it all year, and they got some power. The wind was blowing out, so not that it contributed to the home runs, but it wasn't holding balls up either. So, she was really sharp yesterday. She was really good. One of the home runs, watched video last night, and it's on the chalk line on the inside of the batter's box, and the girl just got her hands to it and got the barrel to it. So that was a good pitch, and you just got to tip your hat to the hitter there. One, the left-hander hit out, and she did leak that one over the middle of the plate about belt high, and the girl made her pay for it. And then I can't remember the pitch location on the third one, but she was really good yesterday. Had great command of her changeup, had the velocity. Her last 2 outings, the velocity's back. So yeah, she pitched phenomenal. Again, it's hard to say, well, you gave up 3 home runs and you pitched great. No, she pitched great. They just they got to 2 good pitches, and then the other one she leaked over there a little bit, and the girl crushed it. But her and Amelia Hathorn were huge yesterday for us.
So you obviously faced the same opponent 4 times last week within 4 days. What did you learn from part 1, Thursday's matchups, and how that translate to your success in the second time around?
Well, they had so many new hitters. I think there's only 2 or 3 hitters that they had returning from last year. So, that's Coach Katie Scott. She obviously watched a lot of film in between, and we're constantly charting and all that kind of stuff. So you kind of get to know their hitters a little bit better by actually facing them and what you do as a pitching staff. So we made a few adjustments on some kids there, and the funny thing is, I think the girls that didn't do much against us on Thursday hit the home runs yesterday, and the ones that had some success with us Thursday, we did a really good job with yesterday. So, tip your hats to Coach Katie Scott and our pitching staff for making those adjustments against their hitters. And I was proud of the way we had a long conversation the other day. We watched some video and kind of showed our team their at-bats and how we were being a little too patient at the plate. And I thought we went out yesterday and was a lot more aggressive and had a lot better at-bats. So, I'm proud of our girls offensively for being able to go out and take some criticism, take some instruction, and go out and apply it to their game.
All right, you basically touched on my next question about the offensive side. We touched on pitching and all that. Leilana Applin, for example, leads your team in most offensive categories, hits, doubles, triples, home runs, etc. But also Avery Gunther hits 2 home runs yesterday, just another example. So Talk about your what you've noticed all season from day one till now in terms of offense.
Well, Leilani has been great from day one. You know, she was the National Player of the Week first weekend of the season and has just continued that. She was leading the entire Lone Star Conference in batting average going into this series. You know, she's just a special kid that has a lot of power, is aggressive at the plate, you know, and her numbers are phenomenal. And Tatiana has been right there with her, but Avery struggled for a lot of the season, and she's getting it back. She went from about a 260 average. I think she's up, I looked at it a while ago, I think she's around 327 right now. Getting some pop back in there and had 2 huge home runs for us yesterday. So, you know, when you take what she's doing, and then Ashton McMillan had great at-bats for us all weekend, and really the 2 big innings that we scored in, 1 in each game, she led it off with singles. So even though it's a single, when you get a leadoff single to start an inning, that's big. And then Avery hit the 2-run home run on 1, and then there was another at-bat. I can't remember who was on third right now, but Ashton hit a really deep ball to left field for a sacrifice fly to score us a run. So she had really good at-bats. Avery's continuing to be an on-base machine with hit-by pitches, but now also driving some balls for some power.
You talked about this earlier, how good it felt to be back home after a couple weeks on the road. But you're home throughout this entire week, facing 2 opponents who you faced not that long ago, who you swept both times. So how does it feel to be back home, and what kind of matchups can we expect going forward?
Well, again, you know, Sul Ross and UTPB are 2 teams that are struggling to win a lot of games. They did play each other last week, or this past weekend, and I think they went 2-2 against each other. I feel like the 2, wherever they were at, they swept. So I think they swept at, UTPB swept at home, Sul Ross swept at home. So that's kind of an interesting breakdown there. But yeah, getting them here, you know, hopefully we can continue to do what we did yesterday against Lubbock Christian and go out and pitch the heck out of it. We played great defense. Leilani was sharp at short, and Aaron made a really good play on a diving play up the middle to get the force out at second. Carter Smith had a really good day going and get some balls over toward foul territory. We just played really well, and that's encouraging because we're kind of getting in that period of the season where fatigue's starting to kick in. You know, you can kind of see some sloppy play sometimes just because of the lack of focus. So to see what we saw yesterday was really encouraging, and to be able to get 3 out of 4 out of Lubbock Christian was big. Now we just got to make sure that we take care of business against these 2 opponents, and you know, play the way we did. We got all 4 of them off of them. Turn your phone off before interviews, people. You'd think I'd learn by now. But you know, hopefully we can find a way to I think we're setting at 33 wins now. To be 37-9 would be really good, and then we got, you know, a tough road stretch the following week at Eastern and Western, and then pretty sure we just finished up the home with West Texas and Midwestern. So we're getting down to the nitty-gritty here, getting down to the end of it, and we're sitting in a solid spot right now in the Lone Star at 3rd overall behind WT and Tyler. So, you know, we just need to continue to play well and make sure that we're in good shape going into the playoffs, which is going to be here before you know it.
Coach, you've been getting some, you've kind of harped on needing production from the second half of your lineup. Yeah. Zoe got a couple hits yesterday. Yeah. Carter got a couple hits. Bree and Abby both reached base. So just talk about what you've seen from them and their production kind of stepping up when you needed them kind of towards the end of the season.
Yeah, you know, Zoe was huge yesterday also. I forgot about her when I was talking about McMillan. Big double, scored 1 or 2. And then a home run there that gave us a 3-1 game, pushed that to a 4-1 game in game 2. So, you know, that's big. She works very hard at her craft. Her and Tatiana and Lauren Dela Cruz are staying at practice a lot afterwards and hitting. And you know, it's always really, really nice when you see them reap the rewards. You heard me say that a lot. Reap the rewards for their work. And but she was clutch for us yesterday with some big hits, playing a great first base. You know, with all their lefties, you know, she got a little extra work over there than normal as a first baseman, and handled everything really well. So that was very encouraging to see. Carter, you know, her and Paris were just trying to give both of them opportunity and hope one of them runs away with it, and really neither one of them are running away with it, but we're getting some big hits here and there. And Carter did. Zoe just hit the double. Carter got a big base hit that scored Zoe to cause that to finish off that inning and get that 6th run on the board. And we knew, you know, we had to keep scoring because they're offensively, they can come back pretty quickly on you. So, you know, just quality at bats. You know, we're still not getting a ton of production down there, but hey, when we can get RBI production and run manufacturer, that's huge for us because the top of our lineup is so good that you know, that makes it dangerous when we're getting it 1 through 9.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, you bet.